Quality this week is dedicated. And dedicated, the definition is devoted to something bigger than you are. You got to become almost dead to yourself. That's spelled dedicated, D-E-A-D-I-C-A-T-E-D. You become dead to yourself in order to become dedicated to something bigger than you are. The quote, the greatest task for any person is to find meaning in your life. And that was a quote from a guy named Viktor Frankl, who was a German Jewish psychiatrist in a death camp during World War II. And he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And what he says is the one thing you need to do is find a meaning, a purpose in your life. And once you find that meaning or that purpose in your life, you need to become dedicated to it. You know, I understand that completely. I've lived that. I became dedicated to character education in the early 80s, and I've never lost that dedication. It's stronger today than it was in 1983 when we began. You become dedicated to be a better person than you are. In other words, if you're doing these lessons, it's because you have a dedication to be the best you that you can be. Now, we're going to write this Monday, so we're going to write down 3 goals. Now, let me tell you about 7 questions on your goals. The number one question you want to answer on these goals is, where do you want to go? That's the number one question. Where do you want to go? What is it that you're looking for? Make the bed every day? Make 100 on the test? Make 20 tackles? Make 7 sales this week? Where do you want to go? Number 2 question, how are you going to get there? In other words, you've got to have a plan to get there. If I said, you know what, I want to go to San Antonio, you don't just take off driving and end up there. You put a map out and you make sure you got the shortest, easiest route to get there. Same thing setting a goal. Number 3, what's your plan? In other words, I'm going to drive 4 hours on Monday and 5 hours on Tuesday to get to San Antonio. This is how I'm going to do it. This is my plan. Number 4, what's the cost? How much is it going to cost me? How much time is it going to cost me? How much money is it going to cost me for gas? That's where I want to go. Same thing with making 100 on a test. What's the cost? Time. I got to spend time studying. Number 5, what are the benefits? This is really important. Write down what the benefits are once you make that 100 on the test, or you get to San Antonio, or you make 20 tackles, or you make 7 sales. Write that down. Number 6, who's responsible? That's a one-word answer. You. That's it. There's not another answer. And number 7, what's the timetable? In other words, am I going to lose 12 pounds in 1 week? Well, I write a timetable out of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. Just like my wife running a 5K, from couch to 5K, she didn't run a 5K the first day. She had a plan. She knew what it was going to cost her. She knew what the benefits were. She had all of that planned out. And then she knew exactly what she'd do day 1, day 2, all the way up until the day she ran it. Very simple thing. Those 7 questions do it for any goal you want to do. And when you answer those 7 questions, then you're on the way to being a purpose-driven human being.